Okay, so today we're going deep on something I think we've all felt at some point, that just completely drained feeling.
Yeah.
Burnout, right?
Burnout.
We're going to look at what it is, why it seems like it's everywhere these days, and most importantly, I think what we can all do about it.
For sure.
And to help us kind of break all this down, we've got a story about a marketing executive named Maria, who's dealing with some pretty serious burnout.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Maria's story is a great example because, a lot of people think burnout is just being tired or stressed, but it's way more than that. It's like this total exhaustion, like you said, emotionally, physically, mentally.
yeah,
Like your battery isn't just low, it's completely fried.
totally fried.
And it usually comes from this chronic stress, when your body's like in fight or flight mode all the time,
Right.
pumping out cortisol like crazy. And eventually you
You hit a wall.
hit that wall.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, reading Maria's story, I was like, oh, I know. I know this feeling. She's working late. She's got all these projects, these deadlines. And then even when she's not working,
Right.
it's like her brain won't shut off about work.
Exactly. And that's that inability to disconnect. It's
Yeah.
like a huge red flag for burnout. And technology doesn't help.
No, it does not.
We're constantly bombarded with notifications, emails, messages.
Yeah.
It's like impossible to really unplug.
It is.
And then there's this whole always on work culture, It's
Well,
like the line between work and life is just
blurred.
completely blurred.
Yeah. I think Maria's story is a really good example of kind of what not to do.
Yeah, definitely.
But what about the what to do part?
Right.
Our source had some good advice there. So let's get into that.
Let's do it.
The first thing they mention is prioritizing self-care.
Yeah.
So what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, self-care is more than, just taking a bath or getting a massage or something.
Right.
Although those can be nice.
Of course, those are good.
But it's really about actively doing things that recharge you.
Okay.
Things you enjoy that help you de-stress.
Like what kinds of things?
Well, it could be anything, really.
Oh.
Like starting a new hobby, joining a social group, or even just taking some quiet time for yourself.
Right.
The key is to make it a regular thing,
Okay.
not something you only do when you're already burnt out.
So being proactive about your well-being.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay. The source also mentions communicating with your manager about all this,
Yeah.
which I think for a lot of people can be kind of a scary thought.
It can be intimidating.
Yeah. Any advice on making that conversation a little less stressful?
Absolutely. So first, be really clear about what your concerns are.
Okay.
Instead of saying, I'm overwhelmed, you could try something like, I'm currently managing X number of projects with these deadlines, and I'm finding it difficult to maintain quality and meet the deadlines. Be specific.
Okay.
And it's also helpful to come prepared with some potential solutions,
Yep.
like maybe delegating some tasks or adjusting deadlines.
Ooh, that's good.
That shows you're proactive and that you're thinking about solutions.
Right.
And honestly, your manager might not even realize how much you have on your plate.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So open communication is super important.
Yeah. So instead of just like gritting your teeth and dealing with it
Exactly.
until you explode, talk to your manager.
Exactly.
Good advice. Okay. The last thing the source brings up is stress management techniques.
Yes.
What are some things people can do that are easy and accessible that can help calm them down when they're feeling stressed?
Well, mindfulness is a great tool.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be complicated.
Right.
Even just taking a few deep breaths before a meeting or like noticing the feeling of your feet on the ground when you're walking.
Okay.
Those little things can make a difference.
Yeah.
There are also a ton of apps out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like guided meditations and breathing exercises.
Right.
But honestly, even just taking 5 minutes to sit and focus on your breath. Yeah.
Can do wonders for calming your nervous system.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot today.
We have.
Before we go, any final thoughts for our listeners?
Even if you're not feeling totally burnt out right now,
Okay.
it's still a good idea to use some of these strategies.
Yeah,
Taking care of your mental health is so important.
for sure.
It's not selfish.
Right.
It's an investment in your long-term well-being and happiness.
I like that.
You can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Right.
So take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Set those boundaries.
Yeah,
And remember, your well-being is the most important thing.
absolutely. Great advice. I think we can all take that to heart.
For sure.
All right, that's it for our deep dive on burnout today. Thanks for listening,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.